The Eagles' latest loss has left fans reeling and questions swirling around the team's ability to finish games when it matters most. Watching them move the ball against a solid defense was promising at first glance, but the inability to convert drives into touchdowns has continued to plague this squad. Field goals replaced opportunities that should have been touchdowns, and turnovers cropped up at the most inconvenient moments, making it difficult to secure a win on the road. This is a reality that no team can ignore, and the responsibility starts at the top with the quarterback, the centerpiece of the offense, whose performance was uncharacteristically shaky. Jalen Hurts, normally a reliable and steady presence, had one of the most difficult nights of his career. After starting the season with remarkable ball security, this game saw him throw interception after interception, culminating in a staggering 4 picks and 5 turnovers overall. Each mistake compounded the pressure on the rest of the team and shifted momentum decisively toward the opponent. The plays themselves were perplexing, from poorly timed throws to risky decisions that ignored safer options. There was a moment in the game where a wide-open receiver in the slot could have scored a touchdown, but a poorly executed pass turned what should have been a highlight into a critical interception. It's not just the errors that are concerning. It's the manner in which they unfolded, with hesitation and subtle misreads, creating openings that the defense was eager to exploit. While much of the conversation will naturally focus on Hurts, it's clear that the struggles were collective. The offense as a whole failed to execute on key opportunities, and the lack of finishing drives extended beyond one player's performance. A.J. Brown, the team's star receiver, had his share of tough moments, including drops at pivotal times in the game. Yet he also displayed accountability, openly acknowledging mistakes and maintaining a focus on improvement. His perspective after the game was enlightening, emphasizing that football is a team sport and that responsibility is shared among players, not just quarterbacks or coaches. He highlighted the difficulty of plays under duress and the split-second decisions that can make or break a game. The interactions between Hurts and Brown underscore a core truth about this Eagles team. Chemistry and trust between quarterback and receiver are critical, but execution under pressure remains the ultimate measure. The loss was further complicated by the stakes in the NFC East. Consecutive defeats have jeopardized the Eagles' position for a top playoff seed, and with the Cowboys maintaining close proximity in the standings, every misstep has amplified consequences. For the Eagles to reclaim the top spot in the division, perfection is required in the remaining games, an increasingly difficult expectation as the season winds down. The team's ability to handle pressure and finish strong is under scrutiny, and fans are starting to feel the frustration of watching potential go unrealized in crucial moments. Every drive matters, and when turnovers or missed opportunities accumulate, the implications extend beyond just a single loss. Offensively, the Eagles have shown glimpses of promise, particularly in the running game. Saquon Barkley's breakout plays offered hope that the offensive line is beginning to create more consistent running lanes. There were positive signs in play-action sequences and attempts to attack the middle of the field, suggesting that the coaching staff is experimenting with adjustments and creative approaches to spark the offense. Yet these improvements were inconsistent, and finishing drives remained elusive. Turnovers and mistakes overshadowed flashes of innovation, reminding fans and analysts alike that execution is still the linchpin of success. Nick Sirianni has reportedly become more involved in the offensive game plan, adding a layer of vocal leadership and attempting to guide the team toward better performance. While some incremental gains were visible, the overarching narrative remains the same. The Eagles struggle to capitalize on opportunities when the margin for error is minimal. The defensive side of the ball, however, provided a bright spot in a challenging night. The unit delivered a strong response after being dominated on the ground in previous matchups, particularly against teams with high-powered offenses. They contained the Chargers' running game effectively, forced turnovers, and maintained pressure on the quarterback with multiple sacks and hurries. Jordan Davis, in particular, showcased an outstanding performance with a career high in pressures and significant tackles, while edge rusher Jalix Hunt demonstrated his growing impact with sacks and a forced fumble. The defense's ability to disrupt the opponent underlines the potential of this team, when execution aligns with effort and strategy. Despite the offensive difficulties, the defensive resilience provided a foundation that could be built upon in future matchups. Nevertheless, the core issue continues to revolve around offensive execution and decision-making. While the defense can keep games within reach, the Eagles' inability to convert drives, minimize turnovers, and make the correct reads has repeatedly undermined their success. Watching the film reveals not only the mistakes, but also the missed opportunities to adjust mid-game. The combination of quarterback misreads, untimely turnovers, and inconsistent receiver performance has created a challenging environment in which the margin for error is razor-thin. Even when the scheme shows potential and players demonstrate flashes of individual brilliance, the overall execution remains the deciding factor. The narrative around blame is nuanced. While fans are quick to point fingers at the quarterback or the coaching staff, the reality is that these losses stem from collective failures. The players on the field are ultimately responsible for finishing drives and making decisive plays, and the team's performance in high-pressure situations exposes the depth of the challenges they face. Turnovers, dropped passes, penalties, and miscommunication collectively illustrate that the problem is systemic rather than isolated. Even with increased involvement from the coaching staff and adjustments to play calling, the critical measure will always be how well the team executes under the intense conditions of the NFL. The Eagles fans are left with mixed emotions. Glimpses of progress in some aspects of the offense and defense, juxtaposed with glaring execution errors that cost them games. The team's quarterback has proven in past seasons that he can perform at an elite level, but this stretch highlights that even the most talented players can struggle under pressure. The balance between maintaining trust in the franchise quarterback and holding the team accountable for errors is delicate, and the response from players like A.J. Brown, who openly accepted responsibility and defended his teammate, illustrates the professionalism and leadership present in the locker room. The dynamic between accountability, skill, and performance is central to understanding why this loss feels particularly frustrating yet remains instructive for the team moving forward. Despite the setbacks on offense, there are small victories that suggest the Eagles are not without hope. Watching the offensive line open holes for Barkley and provide at least partial protection for Hurts shows that the fundamentals are improving, even if the results aren't consistently translating to points on the board. There were instances where receivers found separation, and Hurts displayed flashes of his usual poise, rolling out and attempting to make plays under duress. Yet these moments were often overshadowed by hesitation, miscommunication, or ill-timed throws, emphasizing the fine line between a successful drive and a turnover. In a league where every possession counts, the Eagles' inability to consistently execute basic reads and decisions has become a recurring theme, and it's a problem that must be addressed before it derails the remainder of the season. The coaching staff deserves some credit for attempting adjustments, particularly in play design and game planning. Nick Sirianni's increased involvement was noticeable in the creative play-action sequences and attempts to stretch the field vertically. The team's strategy seemed more aggressive in certain moments, reflecting an understanding that predictable patterns have been limiting offensive production. However, play calling can only go so far when the players fail to execute at critical moments. Hurts' errant throws and the mishandling of opportunities by the receivers meant that even the best-laid plans were rendered ineffective. This raises questions about how much the system relies on flawless execution and whether additional support or simpler reads could have helped prevent some of the disastrous outcomes on the scoreboard. Jalen Hurts' struggles also serve as a reminder that even elite quarterbacks can have nights where nothing seems to click. The mistakes were not purely mechanical. They were also mental and situational. Misreading zone coverages, misjudging timing with receivers, and succumbing to pressure from the pass rush all contributed to a night that will likely be remembered as one of his career lows. While it is easy for fans to focus on the statistics, 4 interceptions and 5 turnovers, it is equally important to analyze the context. Defensive schemes that applied constant pressure, receivers forced into tough catches, and moments where Hurts tried to do too much on his own. The game, more than any single player's performance, highlighted the thin margin that separates victory from defeat in the NFL. A.J. Brown's role in this game cannot be understated. Despite some critical drops, he maintained his composure and took responsibility publicly, emphasizing that the offensive struggles were shared by all. His willingness to defend his quarterback in press settings reinforces the importance of leadership and cohesion within the team. Football is inherently collaborative, and moments like these underline that even in difficult games, team culture and accountability are just as important as the on-field results. Brown's ability to balance criticism of his own plays with support for his teammates signals maturity and sets an example for the rest of the roster. It is clear that the Eagles' locker room culture encourages players to own their mistakes while continuing to fight collectively, which is a vital element for any team looking to rebound from disappointing performances. Defensively, the Eagles were far more consistent, demonstrating that the team has the talent and discipline to dominate opponents under the right conditions. The pass rush was relentless, forcing hurried throws and pressuring the quarterback into mistakes. Linebackers and the secondary combined for turnovers and key stops, showing that even when the offense falters, the defense can keep the team competitive. Jordan Davis's career night and Jalix Hunt's multiple sacks emphasized that individuals on the defensive side are stepping up and potentially shaping their identities as elite players. These performances are crucial, not just for this game, but for setting a standard for future contests. They serve as a reminder that while offensive execution has been inconsistent, the Eagles' defensive unit remains capable of game-changing performances. The ongoing struggles, however, highlight a pattern that cannot be ignored. Execution issues, particularly in the red zone and under pressure, have become a defining characteristic of the Eagles' offense this season. Turnovers in critical moments, missed assignments, and poor decision-making have consistently shifted momentum away from Philadelphia. Even when the team gains yardage and creates favorable matchups, the inability to finish drives or protect the football diminishes any strategic advantage. Watching game film reveals repeated instances where small lapses had outsized consequences, turning potentially manageable situations into game-deciding errors. The cumulative effect is not just reflected in the scoreboard, but in the mental strain on players, coaches, and fans alike, reinforcing that these problems run deeper than a single game or one underperforming player. The Eagles' situation in the NFC East adds further urgency to these execution issues. With the division race tightening, every mistake carries heightened significance. Losses now have ripple effects on playoff positioning, seeding, and momentum heading into the postseason. The Cowboys' proximity in the standings amplifies the pressure on the Eagles to perform flawlessly in their remaining games, an expectation that is difficult to meet given the current inconsistencies. While individual talent is abundant, translating that talent into consistent results remains the primary challenge. This scenario underscores the importance of discipline, preparation, and mental toughness in high-stakes matchups, where one misstep can change the trajectory of the season. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. A swirl of whispers is sweeping through Philadelphia, and the city hasn't sounded this electric in months. Something has leaked, something big, and it caught even the most plugged-in insiders completely off guard. According to early murmurs circulating behind closed doors at the NovaCare complex, a major shakeup may be unfolding inside the Philadelphia Eagles locker room. No official statement has been released, but sources close to the situation insist that one of the team's key players could be on his way out, igniting speculation across every corner of the fan base. The timing of the rumor only adds to the shock. There had been no visible signs of tension, no public disagreements, no cryptic social media activity hinting at dissatisfaction. Yet insiders are describing the atmosphere as unsettled and even volatile after the supposed leak. Some say teammates appeared unusually quiet as they left the facility, while others claim the staff looked rattled, as if something significant had just dropped into their laps. Philadelphia, a city that feels every high and low of its football team, has erupted. Local radio lines are jammed. Fans are refreshing feeds nonstop, and commentators are tossing theories into the air like confetti. Is this a contract issue bubbling over at the worst possible moment? A sudden trade negotiation pushed into motion? Or did something unforeseen, something deeper, trigger the potential exit? No one seems to know for sure, but everyone seems to have an opinion. What makes the rumor even more intriguing is the player's importance to the team's identity. Losing him wouldn't just open a roster spot. It would reshape the entire tone of the season ahead. The Eagles pride themselves on stability, but the current buzz suggests that even the strongest foundations can experience unexpected cracks. For now, Philadelphia waits, restless and wide-eyed, hanging on every clue that may confirm or completely debunk the explosive whispers. One thing is certain: whatever just leaked has stirred a city that lives and breathes its Eagles, and the ripple effect is only beginning. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.